भक्ति देवी महाराज सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, कलयुग पावन तारण हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Shishi Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we welcome you all again on this Friday weekly classes. So we are discussing specially Janmashtami special till now. Up to Radhashtami we have this Janmashtami special classes going on. So we have taken up the entire story of Sudama and Krishna. And of course, during the Janmashtami time, we had taken up the birth stories and we had taken up the Nanda Utsav stories. So today, I'll take one more story which generally we miss during the time of Diwali. Bhaumasur story. Bhaumasur कितने लोगों को पता है? How many of you know Narakasur? Narakasur and Bhaumasur are one and the same. So we miss out this generally because Dhanteras, Diwali, and everybody is busy in Damodar. Then we sometimes like this way we should take some chance. I thought of taking some childhood pastime, but then we have been taking. So I thought let me take up this Bhaumasur pastime. Hare Krishna. I think so. मैंने कल ही सोचा था, मैंने बोला चलो ठीक है ये लेते हैं. इनफैक्ट मैं एक पीपीटी भी शेयर कर देता हूँ अपने ग्रुप में. तो मेरे पीछे तो रहिएगा. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकीम् कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. गोविंदाय नमो नमः. गोविंदाय नमो नमः. हरे कृष्णा. श्रीमद् भागवतम से shared this shloka. śrī-rājovāca yathā hato bhagavatā bhaumo yene striyaḥ niruddhā etad ācakṣva vikramaṁ śārṅga-dhanvanaḥ. बस बोलते एक बार. śrī-rājovāca yathā hato bhagavatā bhaumo yene niruddhā etad ācakṣva vikramaṁ śārṅga-dhanvanaḥ. शारंग पानी बोलने से इजी होता है, पर śārṅga-dhanvanaḥ, śrāṅga-dhanvanaḥ. यस, रिपीट करेंगे कोई? श्री-राजोवाच यथा हतो भगवता
yene yathā śrīyaḥ
bhaumo yene ācakṣva
niruddhā etad ācakṣva
niruddhā etad ācakṣva
vikramaṁ śrāṅga-dhanvanaḥ
vikramaṁ Hare Krishna. śrī-rājovāca yathā hato bhagavatā bhaumo yene niruddhā etad ācakṣva vikramaṁ śrāṅga-dhanvanaḥ. Hare Krishna. Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. King Parikshit said, how was Bhaumasura, who kidnapped so many women, killed by the Supreme Lord? Please narrate this adventure of Lord śrāṅga-dhanvanaḥ. Hare Krishna. Saranga-pani, we say it very easily. But śrāṅga-pani, actual naam hai. श्रांगपाणी. तो śrāṅga-dhanvanaḥ कृष्ण का एक नाम है. तो ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाभितले श्रीमते. Hari Om. So Bhaumasura, we are going to discuss the pastimes of Bhaumasura. So who was Bhaumasura and how was he delivered by Krishna? And what is the lesson we learn out of this Bhaumasura story? So, how many of like Dashavatar, the boar, the wild boar avatar of Krishna, which is Lord Varahadev, right? So the third incarnation, Varahadev is the third incarnation out of the 10 Dashavatars. So which took place in Chakshush Manvantar. So Chakshush Manvantar is which Manvantar? The Manvantar just before this, our present Manvantar. तो अभी हमारा जो है सो इसका मनवंतर चालू है क्या, विवस्वान का 7th वाला मनवंतर चालू है. सो ये 6th वाला मनवंतर था चाक्षुष मनवंतर. वैवस्वत मनवंतर चालू है अभी. 7th one we call it when we take sankalpa we say वैवस्वत मनवंतरे. So Chakshush Manvantar, the story had happened that, like Hiranyaksha, the whole purpose, like Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were two brothers. We read the story of Hiranyakashipu, but Hiranyaksha, he was also killed by Krishna in the form of Varahadev. So again, they both are sons of Diti and Kashyap Rishi. So Kashyap Rishi had two wives, Diti and Aditi. Okay, Aditi, through Aditi, all devatas were born, and through Diti, because of the wrong time, probably how many of you seen this Narsimha Advent video? Probably it's all over the media now. So, see, so there you see, like, during the wrong time when she meets the husband and the husband warns him also, and still, when she meets the husband, these are two demons, that is, are born, which is Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu both means gold, right? Hiranya means gold. Hiranyaksha, one who had gold, who is who had eyes always on gold. Actually, golden like eyes we cannot say, whose eyes was always on gold. जहां देखो वहां गोल्ड निकालना है. जहां देखो वहां गोल्ड निकालना है. Always, do the mining of gold only. And Hiranyakashipu, whatever gold has been removed, with that, enjoy. Making the bed with the gold, like in the sense. So, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they were greedy and exploiter of the gold. And they had exploited so much of gold from Mother Earth that, hollow. Many of the times we also say in India, and probably I don't know about Pakistan, but we say in India also, like, अरे बहुत ज्यादा बोरवेल मत करो, धरती खोखली हो जाएगी, है ना. बहुत बार बोलते हैं ना, कितना करोगे खोखला हो जाएगा धरती, है ना. They go up to 200, 300 feet down to take water. There's no rules how much you can go and how much you should not go, and like there are, but then people just floor those rules. So Hiranyaksha used to do this way. Wherever he used to find gold, he used to dig Mother Earth and find gold and exploit Mother Earth in such a way that, it happened in such a way that, so much of gold when it extracted and so much of holes when it is made on the Mother Earth, actually it lost its spin and just fell into the Garbhodak ocean. In fact, Hiranyaksha saw to it that, when I make it hollow totally, I will be able to happily throw it in the Garbhodak ocean. Why? Because they wanted to take revenge from Vishnu. Because Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So for them, Brahmaji already said, when they took the Vardhan, Hiranyakashipu already took Vardhan, that I should not be able to kill by any circumstances. But when Hiranyaksha, he first was very inquisitive and he said, I will go and finish it off. This, Vishnu, who is he? And then they said, this Bhumi Devi is nothing but Vishnu's wife. So he says, okay, first I will exploit Bhumi Devi only to the maximum possible and throw Bhumi Devi in such a place that, he has to come. And this is how, when he throws into the Garbhodak ocean is this blue ocean below. All these Brahmandas are, see, all these 7 planetary systems are there in the black one. Okay, you see 14 planetary systems, sorry. All the 14 planetary systems are there in this thing. So in that Earth is in the central part, Bhu-Loka we call it as. So that was thrown into the water. Into the waters of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So Garbhodak ocean. So that was when thrown into the... So then Hiranyaksha had to come. Varadev had to come because he had come out of the nostrils of Brahmadev and he appeared and he went into the Garbhodak ocean and with his hoofs he could bring back the Mother Earth back, and because of his touch then he could again restore it into the constellation, to its place. वापस अपनी धुरी पे उसको बिठा दिया था. And that is the time when he was bringing out, Hiranyaksha challenged. Then they had a big fight, and big fight. So it's a lot of description about the big fight. Just the size of Varadev, when Krishna जब छोटा सा रहता है तो मदर उसकी एक बकेट पानी से उसको स्नान करा देती है. By just a bucket of water, she would make Krishna bath. बट ये सारा ओशन मिलके, गर्भोतक ओशन मिलके भी वरादेव के एक रोम छिद्र में समा जाए, इतना पानी वाला उनका एक रोम छिद्र था. तो आप समझ सकते हैं कितना बड़ा विशाल अवतार लेते हैं भगवान वरादेव के रूप में. So you have to, it is beyond inconceivable nature, right? So that, such a huge, and where then he's challenged by Hiranyaksha, there is a huge fight, and finally, ultimately, Hiranyaksha is killed. Of course, Krishna wants to take the, the Veer Rasa Aswadan. So that is how this Jaya Vijay had to come in the form of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So that Veer Rasa Aswadan they do, but then, Hiranyaksha is killed by Lord Varadev, and again Bhumi is again returned back. Bhumi is again placed back to the constellation, that is, where it is to be, where it was rotating, and there it is left. And then he asks everybody, when he kills Hiranyaksha, all the Devi Devtas come, pour flower on him and make, transcendental stories and transcendental poetries, Uttama Shloka. They glorify, and then, then Varadev says, okay, now I have put back the earth. Now you people all return back to your home. So during this, when Varadev, when he was picking up Bhumi Devi from the earth, and when he put back on this thing, by the glance of Varadev, Bhumi Devi got impregnated. And as a result, a son was born for Bhumi Devi who was known as Bhauma. Bhauma. Bhumi ka putra Bhauma. Okay. So, and Bhauma from the childhood was very religious. born to Mother Earth, and father himself none other than Varadev, none other than Krishna, he was very religious. And I've given some PPT also. If you would like to go through that, then it's okay. But then, if you want to listen, you can listen. So Varadev, he was very, very good child, very devoted child, very pious child, very religious child, and means like serving the Brahmanas, and so all the thing was good. So Bhumi Devi, thinking that my son is so well devoted and all those, takes a boon from Varadev that until and unless I say my son should not get killed. जब तक मैं न कहूं मेरे पुत्र की मृत्यु नहीं होनी चाहिए या कोई उसकी हत्या नहीं कर पाना चाहिए, मेरी परमिशन से ही मेरा पुत्र मारा जा सकता है. तो वरादेव गिव्स ओके, लाइक तथास्तु, है ना. भगवान तो जब प्रसन्न होते हैं तो देते ही हैं, परंतु भगवान के पास उनका तोड़ भी रहता है. सो दिस वे द लॉर्ड ग्रांट्स boon that Bhauma, you can never be killed. Okay. So in Sri Sampradaya, you generally see, when you say Govinda in the center, you will always find two Shaktis, namely Bhudevi and Sri Devi on the sides, right? They call it as Andal also and Padmavati also, right? Bhudevi and Sri Devi. These are the two Shaktis which are shown side by side to Krishna. So this Bhudevi is nothing but the deity representing the Mother Earth planet. Bhudevi is nothing but representing the Mother Earth planet. Prakriti we call it as, or Bhumi. ठीक है ना. Bhagavad Gita में will come across many sites that Prakriti. We'll come across like Bhudevi, Bhumi. All these are nothing but one and the same, who is none other than the energy of Krishna. And Sri Devi, of course, Rukmini is in the form of Sri Devi, and we had already discussed. तो श्री है already, लक्ष्मी जी की अवतार थी. तो so you all must be thinking, so this Bhauma is a good child, then why being he is called Bhaumasur? Why is he called being Asur? अब कोई देवी, ये तो एकदम सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉड हेड का ही पुत्र है. भूमि देवी उसकी मदर है, एंड स्टिल ही इज बीइंग कॉल्ड भौमासुर. तो असुर बोलने का क्या कारण हुआ उसका? कोई बोल सकता है असुर क्यों?
कृष्ण को नहीं मानते.
असुरिक कैरेक्टर कोई. Basically, his association, he became an asur in form with a wrong association. Many of the times we say, like, we choose our friends, sometimes. So sometimes wrong friends make you behave very wrongly. So ये असुर एक जैसे जैसे भौमा, as Bhauma grew, by providence, he came into an association with a demon called Banasur. Banasur. Okay. So Banasur was the king of one of the 100 sons of Bali Maharaj. And he was devoted to Lord Shiva. Of course, all the asuras who defy Supreme Personality of Godhead will definitely worship the Devi Devatas. So among them, the highest Devi Devata, that is the highest Devata, is Mahadeva. And he was a worshipper of Mahadev. So as an ardent devotee of Mahadev, it is said that, he had 1,000 arms, and with that 1,000 arms, he used to play mridangam for Shiva when Shiva used to perform the Natya, Tandava. So Banasur used to perform with 1,000 hands, the mridanga he used to beat so well, nicely, drum. So Shiva was happy, very happy, and offered Banasura, to ask a boon. So Banasura requested Shiva to be his city's guardian. To be his city's guardian. Therefore, Banasur also became, nobody can enter my city. So it becomes invincible for anyone. So बोला कि आप मेरे घर के अर्थात मेरे राज्य की रक्षा कीजिए. हाँ, जैसे वृंदावन में भी हम बोलते हैं ना कि महादेव बैठे हैं, किसके रूप में? गोपेश्वर महादेव के रूप में. So wherever there is a dham of Krishna, always there will be dham of Mahadev also. Why? Because he is a kshetrapalak of that particular place. So Bhanasur also requested Shiva to be city's guardian, and then in this way he became invincible. And then as the time passed, he started becoming cruel, because asuras, when they get boons and when they get puffed up, they go into all wrong directions. They do not want to see who Lord is, who do not want to follow the rules of the Lord. So as a result, what happened? The ego, pride, everything, goes up, and he starts harassing the public in general. He starts harassing the general public. Harassing in such a way that, wherever he used to find, kill brahmanas, or, wherever there is good yajnas going on, go and, disturb that. He went to the extent that also once he kidnapped the grandson of Krishna, Niruddhā. He also once kidnapped the grandson of Niruddhā. So, well, of course, then later Krishna had to punish him, intervene and punish him, but we'll not discuss that pastime because we'll lose about Bhanasur otherwise, Bhaumasur, going into Bhanasur this time. So then Niruddhā was free. Niruddhā is actually his son, Pradyumna's son. Pradyumna is Krishna's son, and Pradyumna's son is Niruddhā. So that way, Krishna's grandson. So keeping the Niruddhā story aside, we'll just come back to our normal Bhaumasur story. So Bhaumasur, in association with Bhanasur, developed the passion and deep lust for all the bad qualities of harassing Brahmanas. Where he was serving Brahmanas, very happily he was serving the Brahmanas, he started harassing them now. And got attached to beautiful women, wine and women, all those things. And autocrities, he increased his means, he has so much of like wherever he used to find a beautiful princess, he used to kidnap them and keep it in his harem, keep it in his capital. So this way, where all the Devi Devatas, whichever Devi, whichever Devata, whichever normal king on the earth planet, whoever had daughters, were all being kidnapped by Bhaumasur. This way, 16,100 princesses he captured and imprisoned them. 16,100 जो विवाहित अविवाहित कन्याओं को, जो बड़ी सुंदर स्त्रियां थी, उन सबको उसने कैप्चर करके अपने राज्य में बंदी बना के रखा, और इनफैक्ट उनको अपना दास बना के रखा, और उनका जीवन इतना नारकीय कर दिया, नरक का जीवन. क्यों? नेचुरली किसी के, when somebody is in somebody's bondage, naturally they'll try to, whatever they would try to make use of the bondage labor, we have seen those things happening. So same thing was happening with the 16,100 princesses, and their life was hellish, and that is why he was called Narakasura. Since he made the life of all those princesses like a narak, उनको नरक की यातना झेलनी पड़े, इतना तकलीफ दिया, तो उसका एक नाम नरकासुर पड़ेगा. वहीं रुका नहीं है, तो princesses को लेना तो ठीक है. He went ahead and stole her stepmother's earrings, that is Aditi's earrings. Aditi's earrings. So Aditi's, it was a precious earrings. And apart from that, he stole Varun Dev's umbrella. Varun Dev's umbrella had such a quality that it could also withstand the thunderbolt thrown by Indra. Varun Dev could have stopped it, that he had an umbrella. And also to the extent that he stole the playground of the Devatas. Devatas had a very nice playground. Now you say, like, we have only playgrounds in Jeddah or India or anywhere. No. Even Devatas had their playground. It was on the Mandarachal mountain. And what is this Mandarachal mountain? During the Samudra Manthan Leela, this Mandarachal mountain served as the central या डिस्क और whatever you call it as, where it was,
Meru.
Thus, Mandarachal mountain was used during the churning rod. Mount Sumeru that is part of that Mount Sumeru only, Mandarachal. So, during the Samudra Manthan Leelas, this was used. So, now so this was the starting backdrop. Now, Arjuna asks in Bhagavad Gita, if you all remember, 3.36, he will ask one question after the Karma Yoga section going on. He'll ask, he say, Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi vashneya baladiva niyojitaha. 3.36, he says, Arjuna says, what? O descendant of Vrishni, means Krishna, by what one is impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force. ये कौन सा फोर्स है जो मुझे पाप करने के लिए मजबूर करता है किसी व्यक्ति को? कौन सा फोर्स है ना? तो कई बार लोग बोलते हैं ना, भाई हृदय जो भी पत्ता भी हिलता है परमात्मा की इच्छा से हिलता है है ना? तो कभी कभी बोलना ठीक है, पत्ता जो भी हिलता है, पत्ता भी हिलता है, परमात्मा की इच्छा से हिलता है, परंतु ये समझने वाली बात है, तो परमात्मा अंदर बैठे बैठे आपको ये कार्य करने को बोल रहा है? Nahi. Krishna answers it. So Arjuna question this was valid. That, what is it that, a person knowing well, despite that, everything is good, still he indulges in sinful activity. Knowing that, I am doing this is very sinful, still he indulges in to do that act. So, to give that, that sinful actions are not impelled by super soul within, so that is, so we have to understand, that is the sutra. The sinful actions are not impelled by the super soul within, but are due to another cause. And the Lord explains that cause in 3.37. That is in the next sloka. Bhagavan says, Bhagavan vacha, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajo guno samadbhava, Mahashano mahapapma, Vidyayana iha vairinam. He says, Arjuna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead says, Arjuna, it is lust. It is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but it is the desire backed up with the lust. When the desires are unfulfilled, it leads to anger, and anger leads, and unfulfilled desires leads to lust, and lust unfulfilled leads to anger. So it is the lust which is born of contact with material mode of passion. That is, रजोगुण के contact में आकर, and later is transformed into the wrath. That is converted into wrath. That is, ऐसी परिस्थिति लाके खड़ा कर देता है, which is all devouring sinful enemy of the world. ये लस्ट है जो महा घोर रूप लेता है और आपसे पाप करने के लिए मजबूर करता है। तो लस्ट होता कैसे? अनफुलफिल्ड डिजायर्स। बेस्ट है डिजायर्स को डोटेल करो कृष्णा के लिए। जो भी डिजायर है आपकी, उसको कृष्णा के लिए डोटेल करो, इंस्टेड ऑफ एंजॉयिंग योरसेल्फ। एंजॉय टू द सैटिस्फैक्शन ऑफ लॉर्ड, दैट इज एंजॉय द senses of you. So you should work to enjoy the senses of Krishna rather than enjoy your own senses by serving him. So this is what is the all-devouring enemy, Krishna says. So Srila Prabhupada says, when a living entity comes into contact with material creation, okay, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust in association with the mode of passion. So the very important, that is why that prakriti kriya guna manani, prakriti guna means prakriti kriya manani guna karmani sarvasha. Prakriti is very strong with full of 3 gunas. And the moment this Sachidananda part and parcel, the soul, part and parcel of the super soul enters this realm, the material realm, the gunas interact, and the rajoguna interacts, and your unfulfilled desire, so it could be your eternal love, which is the Shuddha love. But the moment it comes into contact with material realm, it transforms into lust. That's the reason everything is there, to इनको उठाओ, इन तीनों चीजों से ऊपर उठो, अपनी चीज को प्यूरिफाई करो. इसलिए वो कृष्णा का वो मैंने बोला काम क्रोध लोभ मोह मद मात्सर्य ये सब जो मन के विकार है कृष्णा के संपर्क में आने से किस प्रकार दूर होते हैं, जन्माष्टमी की कथा से हमने समझा था. So if lust is remaining unsatisfied, it will lead to wrath, which is anger. And then, one fall down is definite. Dhyayato vishayan punsan, sangasteshu pajayate, sangat sanjayate kama, kama krodho vijayate, krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammoha smriti vibhrama, smriti bhramshat, buddhi nasho, pranashyati. These are the 8 stages of fall down. Will come in 2.62 this year only. This year only. So these are the 8 stages of fall down. Attachment to sense objects develops lust, and lust unfulfilled leads to anger and delusion and bewilderment of memory, loss of intelligence, and then fall down. So all these things happen, and this is what was happening with Bhauma. This is what was happening with Bhauma, and that is how he was stealing away one by one princesses and using them as their maids. Like milk in getting in touch with sour, khatte, imli, ya kuch bhi, nimbu. The moment milk is touched with that, it transforms into lumpy yogurt, right? We call it yogurt only. Of course, paneer bolte hain. Paneer bolte hain, but it is form of yogurt only. It transforms into yogurt. Or even a little touch of the same, this thing would transform into yogurt also, क्योंकि दूध से हम दही जमाते भी है. So similar situation was of Bhauma, who was normal but got transformed, who was a normal person serving the Brahmanas and, in general, serving everybody, got transformed into Asura in association with Banasura. He came in contact with Banasura. Banasura took him to all obnoxious places, and his consciousness starts getting polluted, and then slowly unfulfilled desires come up, and this is how he got into that. So all this with stories which are existing then in those Satyugas are also applicable today. Same thing. That's the reason Bhagavad Gita is for all ages of life and for all times. What was said 5,000 years back, by Krishna, what was said by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years before, or what is said by Prabhupada, and as it is, there's no difference. That is why Srila Prabhupada used to always stress upon the ABCD. Because the association matters a lot. A normal Sura can become an Asura just by wrong association. So A is what? Association. And B is what? Books. That's why Srila Prabhupada used to say, read my books. I have given you so much. You don't have to read anything else more. I have given you the gist of the entire, the crux, what we call it like the Vedic sciences. Then C is chanting. That cleanses our mind and, consciousness. And D is diet and DT worship. Dono hi. D has double effect. Diet and DT worship. Dono important hai. So that's why this ABCD karo, Srila Prabhupada used to always say. And that is how ISKCON has this one simple object that, give association. And we try to create association of like-minded people where we can come across, sit across, discuss about Krishna, have his prasadam, enjoy his pastimes, and then get back to our work, because Krishna never said, stop your work. Get back to our work. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also emphasized, sadhu sangha, sarva shastra kahe, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hai. Sadhu means sadhu sangha of lava matra, means which is 1/100th of a second. We have the scale. I'll give you the scale again sometimes, but right now nahi. तो लव किसको बोलते हैं, क्षण किसको बोलते हैं, सब ना क्षण का 1/100th कुछ लव है. तो उतना भी समय साधु संग में बिताते हैं तो सर्व सिद्धि है. कब सिद्धि प्राप्त हो जाएगी पता नहीं चलेगा. तो इसी चीज को श्रीमद् भागवतम के 10वें अध्याय के ये 59 चैप्टर, सो व्हाट वी आर रीडिंग इज फ्रॉम 10.59 59 chapter, the deliverance of Bhaumasura, and we took up this shloka, which is, Parikshit Maharaj is speaking to, Parikshit Maharaj is listening to Shukadev Goswami. He is listening to the Bhagavatam, which is being narrated by Shukadev Goswami. And as I said already, during the Janmashtami, that is, before starting Krishna Leela, already 4 days had finished. Shukadev Goswami was already speaking about Bhagavatam. He already finished up to 8, the 9 cantos up to 4th day. 5th day, he started speaking about, he asked about Krishna, and that is how Krishna's 90 chapters starts. So, 90 chapters, Shukadev Goswami starts speaking. Within that, this is the 59th chapter. So, coming to this 59th chapter, he says, I want to understand how this Bhaumasura, because, when this story had come that, Bhumi Devi and all those, and he said, I want to understand this Bhaumasura who kidnapped the 16,100 princesses and who was killed by the Supreme Lord, yathā, hato, bhagavatā. Yathā, hato, bhagavatā means killed by the Bhagavan. Bhaumo, yene, striyaḥ. This Bhaumasura who had kidnapped so many striyas. Niruddhā etad ācakṣva. Please narrate. Niruddhā etad ācakṣva. Please narrate that story which you can see. Vikramaṁ śrāṅga-dhanvanaḥ. Vikramaṁ is, the adventurous story. Please narrate the adventurous story of śrāṅga-dhanvanaḥ. So śrāṅga-dhanva is one of the name of Krishna. Why? Why? Like he lifted Govardhana, is called Govardhandari, right? He did Damodar Leela because his rope was tied at his waist. He was called Damodar, right? So like that, he is called śrāṅga-dhanva. Why? Better. śrāṅga-dhanva. Why? Because he used to carry a bow called śrāṅga. One of the bows name of Krishna. We know Krishna is only by Sudarshan Chakra, right? But there is a bow of Krishna which is known as śrāṅga. So śrāṅga. So one who carries of that śrāṅga is called śrāṅga-dhanva. Sāranga, we call it as many times, to the Saranga-pani. Tamil Nadu has very nice temple of Saranga-pani, right? Śrāṅga-pani they call it as, Saranga-pani they call it as. That's one answer. So Sanskrit is coming as śrāṅga-pani. So now Sukdev Goswami is giving that answer to the question raised by Parikshit Maharaj. So he says, Shri Shukha-vāca, I will not ask you to repeat. Indrena hrita-chachena hrita-kundala-bandhuna hrita-maradristanena gnapito bhaumo-cheshtitam sabharyo garuda-rudha prajyotisha-puram yayo girir-durgair-shastra-durgair-jalanya Nila-durgamam Mura-pasha-yutair Dhairair Druda-sarvarta Avrutam. This is the 3 shlokas which defines the adventurous pastime of Bhaumasur, of Lord śrāṅga-dhanva, that is Krishna. So the translation of that is, Shukadev Goswami said, after Bhauma had stolen the earrings belonging to Indra's mother, along with Varuna's umbrella and the demigod's playground at the peak of Mandara mountain, Indra went to Lord Krishna and informed him of these misdeeds. Naturally, Indra, whenever there is a problem, he'll go to. So he came to Dwarika and expressed him that, see, this fellow, he has looted so many things. The Lord, then, taking his wife, Satyabhama, with him, then rode on Garuda to Pragjyotishpur. Pragjotishpur is a place where he used to live, Bhaumasur. That is a place which is in today's Assam. It's the Assam, Bengal se jo us taraf, northeast we call it as. That is Pragjotishpur. So it was surrounded by all sides of, and the fortifications. It had, we'll come to that fortifications. It had consisting of hills, unmanned weapons, water, fire, wind, and one Moor Pash also. So that way it had good fortification. We see ordinary fort also. बहुत सारा कुछ पानी का रहता है, उसके बाद में बड़ा की दीवार रहता है, और उसके बाद में काफी कुछ रहता है ना, फिर भी कोई हाथी ना तोड़ सके इसके लिए बड़े बड़े खड्डे रहते हैं ताकि गरम गरम तेल डाला जा सके. So people create their fortification, and Bhauma also had created this. So I've given that picture, of that fortification, which I'll explain also. So because as we know now, he became very powerful in association with Banasura, because मेरा friend है ना, मेरा मित्र है, कुछ भी बोलेंगे तो जमा हो जाएगा, फोन करने की देरी है. So Banasura will be ready to help me out. So based on this, he stole Mother Aditi's earring. Those earrings are not ordinary earrings. So actually, कुछ भी हो, even if a woman is wearing an earring, it is a property of a woman, right? So when you rob away the material wealth, nobody will be happy, right? किसी के कान के चुरा ले, इंद्र का ये चुरा ले, क्या बोलते हैं, प्ले गार्डन चुरा ले, और उसके बाद में वरुण का अम्ब्रेला चुरा ले, तो कोई भी चोरी करने से कोई भी ये हो जाएगा. तो इसीलिए वे द्वारका आए. द्वारका आके and they wanted to get rid down. So Krishna listened to Indra and promised him, okay, I will do whatever is best for you. That is the reason. And then he thinks about it and chooses Satyabhama to come. He says, okay, come with me. I will take you for a ride. Okay. So it's very interestingly, it's an action pack. Why did he take his wife and all those we have to understand? Because of course, once his wife had a fighting with Rukmini over the Parijata flower. है ना? भाई दिखाते हैं ये सब लीला करके हुई कि ना, माताजियों के बीच में एक माताजी के पास कुछ है तो दूसरी माताजी भी चाहती है मेरे पास ऐसा हो. तो पारिजात फ्लावर एक बार कृष्ण लेके आते हैं और रुक्मिणी को देते हैं, है ना. पारिजात फ्लावर स्वर्ग का फ्लावर होता है. इट्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फ्लावर होता है. तो ऑफकोर्स यहाँ पे उसका रेप्लिका मिलता है धरती पर भी, पारिजात का, जिसके पीछे लाल डंडी होती है, सफेद फ्लावर्स होते हैं. तो पारिजाता फ्लावर, हाँ रहता है वो. ये बहुत इस धरती की जगह पे हमारे घर में भी था वो. उसको लेके हम लोग चंदन में उसको डालते थे. पारिजात फ्लावर के पीछे की डंडी को तोड़ के चंदन में डालते थे. रेड कलर होता था चंदन. तो पहले तो यही सब थे. आजकल कलर डाल देते हैं लोग तो, बट पहले तो यही सब चीजें थी, नेचुरल फ्लावर कलर्स. सो उन दोनों के बीच में एक बार फिर उसने बोला कि भाई ये पारिजात फ्लावर केवल रुक्मिणी को क्यों दिया, मुझे क्यों नहीं दिया. तो कृष्ण ने बोला था, भाई चिंता मत करो, तुझे मैं पूरा का पूरा झाड़ लाके दूंगा. चिंता मत करो, तुझे फ्लावर ग्रह में पूरा का पूरा झाड़ ही लाके दूंगा. सो ना, लाइक वाइफ को खुश करना भी जानना चाहिए. तो कृष्ण आपको सोल्यूशन भी बता रहे हैं कि पत्नी को किस प्रकार खुश रखा जा सकता है. सोल्यूशन भी बता रहे हैं. सो ये दिस टेकिंग इनटू दैट सिचुएशन कि पत्नी को भी खुश करना है और इस भौमासुर का भी अंत करना है. भौमासुर का भी अंत करना है. तो combining these two activities, he went on an adventurous ride. And this ride is full action packed with full of fireworks. Today we see this fireworks. Today we see this fireworks on Independence Day or some good day and all those, some fireworks. But this fireworks naturally happened in that time. Or children play the fireworks, right? Video game लेते डा चलाते रहते हैं, है ना. कोई आ रहा है डेमन टाइप, उसको लेके गन से जो है सो उड़ाते रहते हैं, गोलियां चलाते रहते हैं. पीपल डू दिस, राइट? चिल्ड्रन, राइट? आई हैव सीन डूइंग चिल्ड्रन, सो आई डिडंट डू, बट या फिर राइड गेम्स के यहाँ गए तो वहां वो चलाने को सुना, है ना. वो कंप्यूटर गेम में बोले उसको मारना है, बोले उसको गिराना है ना. तो इट वाज लाइक, ये क्यों? उनके लिए एडवेंचर है, राइट? So Krishna goes on such kind of adventurous ride. So children today, you should learn this. Krishna is giving you all this. And there are so many hurdles which comes through when children plays, right? अरे सामने बोल्डर आ गया, अरे उसको नहीं मारना था, मार दिया, मेरे पॉइंट्स चले गए. So many things happen, right? वैसे ही Krishna has to face so many things. And but one by one, Krishna clears, like जैसे एक मूवी में हीरो क्लियर करते रहता है ना. तो जैसे इसलिए भगवत गीता में जब हीरो की एंट्री दिखाई तो बड़ी ऐसा सुंदर वे में दिखाई गई थी, है ना. पहले जैसे दूर से आ रहा है एक छत्र, सफेद घोड़ों से खींचा हुआ एक रथ, और उसके ऊपर बैठे हुए कृष्ण. बड़ा ही सुंदर डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया हुआ है ना. तथा श्वेतेर हयर युक्तेर महति संदने सितो. तो we heard that, right? When Krishna is so this way Krishna goes and passes all the hurdles and frees all the 16,100 princesses. So now comes now why people can ask why Krishna took Satyabhama is going on a ghastly war to kill Narakasura. Why did he have to take Satyabhama with especially females in a ghastly war? What is the use of taking Satyabhama? So Acharyas write, of course we cannot say, Acharyas write that they were, Acharyas write three reasons that, there are three reasons for which they had gone. So Satyabhama, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Sab logon ne liya? Hari Bol. So Satyabhama was very adventurous. It is said in the shloka also, purport also. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport also. She was very adventurous. Always she was, naughty. Always wanted to go with adventures wherever. The Lord used to want to go, or, always indulge in adventures. So that is the reason, one of the reason Krishna took his dear wife, Satyabhama with him. Otherwise, Rukmini and all those were also there. Second, Krishna had blessed Bhumi Devi in form of Varadev that he will not kill Bhaumasura without her permission. And Bhumi Devi is nothing but the expansion of Satyabhama, the eternal consort of Krishna. Is the expansion, the Prakriti, what we call, is the expansion of Satyabhama. So Krishna wanted Satyabhama's permission to kill Bhaumasur. Krishna wanted Satyabhama's permission also to kill Bhaumasur, because he himself has given the word, right? I will not be killing without your permission. So permission has to be granted. How it will happen? When the action-packed drama can happen. That's the reason Diwali you will see always fireworks and crackers. It's not simply coming in our systems. It is all there, backed up, by Krishna's pastimes. So, and third reason, Acharya said, to take her to heavenly planet, to get her the Parijata tree. We discussed that once the flower, Rukmini's thing. So, to pacify her that, once I said her, she was unhappy when I gave to Rukmini the flower. So we'll take her to the heavenly ride and get the Parijata tree. So Srila Prabhupada says that, materialistic husbands, how do they take care of their wife? Wife wants something, but the husbands have to fulfill, right? Bhai ye le lo, wo le lo, wife will say, and then the husband will say, okay, theek hai, chalo ye bhi le le, chalo wo bhi le le, abhi uski kya zarurat hai na, all those things. As a dutiful husband, whatever wife goes and picks up on shopping, the husband has to just catch hold of it and bring it home. That's it, right? Nothing else he can do. So, वैसे ही कृष्णा अपनी वाइफ को ड्यूटीफुली लेके जा रहे हैं. He was very expert. Where to use, whom to use, how to use. He was very expert. And that is how he used to fulfill all his 16,108 wives' requests also. So this way, they both mount on Garuda, okay, and they go for a excursion to Pragjyotishpur. So Pragjyotishpur, as I said, is the capital of Bhaumasura, and it was not an ordinary city. It was a fortified city and with 4 layered fortifications. That's the reason I've given you the one ek round मैंने एक बीच में palace or some fortifications I've given you. The first fortification was rock fortification. As usual, every fort also has a big rock wall. This had a thick rock fortification with boulders and everything. And after that, there were weapons, manless weapons. Missiles, we call it, right? After the border, there are missiles, right? So missiles and the, missile tankers. So there were manless weapons mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Manless weapons which could fire on its own if anybody trespasses into the city, even from the air, without permission. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, radar. So those kind of systems, of course, they have been mentioned as weapons. And that is the second layer of fortification which has been given in the diagram. So that fortification, weapons, manless weapons. And the third fortification was the air, water and wind fortification. हवा का दबाव, उस हवा के दबाव से पास होना. फिर wind का दबाव, and then पानी का दबाव. Means all three, wind, air, wind and water. Those fortifications you have to cross. And then finally, the invincible Murapash. Murapash. Pash is nothing but a kind of, some kind of bandhan. Pash. So, पाश में जब डालते हैं तो किसी को बंधन में बांधते हैं. तो ये मूर नाम का एक राक्षस था जिसने इसको पाश डाला था इस फोर्टिफिकेशन का. So this 4 fortification had to be crossed. So what Krishna had to do? ये चारों को क्रॉस करना है, right? So then there's a shloka coming in Bhagavatam. Gadaya nirbibhedadrin shastra durgani sayakai chakrenangri jalam vayu mura pashans tathasina. Krishna, that's the reason I gave you that Krishna's photo also next. Krishna is having what all weapons? We just see chakra, right? Krishna with his club broke the rock fortifications. With this club. broke the गदा बड़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग है ना. भीम की गदा हम स्ट्रॉन्ग सुने, लेकिन कृष्णा की गदा सुनो. सारे रॉक फोर्टिफिकेशंस को ध्वस्त कर दिया. कौमुदी गदा. हाँ, कौमुदी गदा. ये क्लब वही तो हो ना. हाँ, क्लब का नाम ही कौमुद की है, बाद में बताऊंगा. बराबर. क्लब उसको ही बोलते हैं, गदा को. एंड हिज एरोस, उसके बाद में with his arrows, the weapon fortifications. अपने तीर से, जो तीर किससे चलते हैं? श्रांग, जो बो था, श्रांग नाम का जो बो था, उससे तीर चलाकर सारे अनमैन्ड वेपन्स, जो सारे क्या बोलते हैं, रेडार्स या फिर जो भी है, सारे ध्वस्त करना. फायर फाइटिंग, क्या ये वॉरफेयर सिस्टम्स को, मिसाइलों को ध्वस्त करना है तो क्या रहता है वो, S-400 क्या बोलते हैं उसको, एंटी डिफेंसिव सिस्टम. सो एंटी डिफेंसिव सिस्टम को ध्वस्त किया कृष्णा ने अपने बाणों के द्वारा. और द विंड, फायर एंड वाटर फोर्टिफिकेशन, उसने अपना सुदर्शन चक्र छोड़ के इन सबको डिस्पर्स कर दिया. एंड विद दिस स्वॉर्ड, जो तलवार थी, उससे उसने मूर का पाश काट दिया. इन चारों चीजों से चारों फोर्टिफिकेशन एक झटके में तबाह कर दिए. कोई तो कितना कुछ मेहनत करके रखा था, है ना. हम भी वैसे ही अपने जीवन में कितनी कुछ मेहनत करके रखते हैं. भगवान का एक कॉल आएगा तो सब धरा रह जाएगा, पता भी नहीं चलेगा. विद इन 1 second. So Vishnu Sahasranam you all been reciting, right? So you have one very important last line, I think so. Okay. वनमाली गदी श्रांगी शंखी चक्री च नंद की श्रीमन्नारायणो विष्णु वासुदेवो अभिरक्षतु. The same line is What I read in Bhagavatam as Gadaya Nirbibedadrin is also said in Vishnu Sahasranam with this line. Vanamali Gadi Shrangi. Vanamali is the person who is wearing one mala, right? That is flower garland. Gadi Shrangi. Shankhi Chakri Chanandiki. Vanamali is the forest flower which Krishna is wearing. Gadi, his gada, which is known as Kaumuduki. Prabhu said just now, right? His gada is called as Kaumuduki. So he broke the rock fortifications with that. Shrangi. With Shrangi, he broke the unmanned weapons. So there they said bows, arrows. There they said in Bhagavatam arrows, and in this Vishnu Sahasranam they are saying Shrangi. So bows and arrow, in fact, they are together, right? So with the Shrangi, he dismantled that, and weaponless fortification, and with Chakri, Shankhi Chakri Cha Nandiki. With Chakri, he did the Sudarshan Chakra, and Nandiki, the barricades of wind, fire, and water. And with Nandiki is what? The sword, talwar. Nandiki is talwar ki naam hai, jo Krishna apne paas rakhte hai. He broke the Murpasha. So missing is this Shank, right? Shankha, yeah. Vanamali, Gadi, Shrangi, Shankhi, Chakri, Cha Nandaki, Shankhi. Yeah, so Shank is missing, right? So now Krishna uses the Shank and blows very heavily. Of course, Panchajanya Shank, you know. So in Mahabharata also you have heard about it, right? Hridayani Vidarayan. Just see, when Krishna blew out his Shank, everybody got frightened. Their hearts got shattered with the sound, transcendental sound coming out of Panchajanya. So the conch shell, when he blew, it shattered the magic seals of the fortress. And it was such a loud noise. When the loud noise comes, you see the glass breaking over, right? With the vibration. So सारे फोर्ट्रेस के सारे जो दरवाजे खिड़कियां थे चकनाचूर हो गए केवल शंख की ध्वनि से. And along with that, the heart of the defenders also, right? So in this way, this Vanimali, Gadi, Shrangi, Shanki, Chakri, Chanandiki. So that is also useful when we say, but we don't recollect this pastime when we sing Vishnu Sahasranam, that particular line. That is exactly the replica of this same pastime by the names given by Vishnu. So once this all four fortification was destroyed, the creator of this fortification, who was the five-headed demon, a demon with the five heads called Mura. And Mura, he was sleeping in the water fortification. पहले wind, फिर air, फिर water. वाटर के अंदर वो बड़ा वाटर था बॉडी उसके अंदर आराम से ही वाज वो डीप मूट इनटू द वाटर ही वाज स्लीपिंग बट देन व्हेन द साउंड हैड कम वेरी shattering sound had come out of the Panchajanya, he had to come out because who is this disturbing? Such a loud noise I am unable to bear. So he had to come out of that water moot. He comes out of the water moot shining. Naturally, when coming out of the water, with that water splash, he comes out with five heads, five heads splashing out of the water, as if with the sun rays, it shines. And the shine is also such that, is again reflected by the shine coming from Krishna. Krishna is also there. And this both shine gives such a, glaring sign that, he comes out of the water, but he is unable to see kind of thing. इतनी चमक एक तो जल से निकलते हुए भी चमक रहती है ना the moment you are out of the water when people go in swimming and when they come out they see this shine. So and then Krishna shining and sun shining, so all those shine made him, so the Mura then got very disturbed by this sound, and with this all this five heads he started roaring kind of sound, as if that that sound also shattered the, disturbed the entire 14 world planetary systems.
means it was such a, it crossed all the planetary systems, the covering of the Brahmanda, and again it reverberated back. So that kind of sound Mura was making. And this terrible sound, when it reverberated, Lord Hari had seen this Mura. He had to break. So Mura Pash, how will he break then? Because that Pash is created. So what Lord Hari had to do? He just stuck 2 arrows from his shrang bow. Okay. He just stuck 2 arrows and हाँ ही पुट मीन्स उसको रोकने के लिए कृष्ण ने फिर वो आवाज ऐसे चिल्ला रहा था एंड देन चिल्लाते चिल्लाते उसने कृष्ण को तो कहा कृष्ण ने उस फिर कृष्ण की तरफ उसने एक अपना ट्राइडेंट फेंका ट्राइडेंट इज त्रिशूल है ना उसके पास होता ही थर्ड कृष्णा डिड नथिंग जस्ट विद द बो ही जस्ट with the 2 bows he just dismantled that weapon. Okay. So he just hurled at them, and Lord, then angrily, because this thing has gone, he took his gada. His gada will also be with that spiked gada. Asura's gadas are all spiked. So that gada he throws, and Krishna, just throws the kaumudiki again and breaks his gada. Since he carries this kaumudiki with him. ही इज कॉल्ड एज गदाग्रज ऑल्सो है ना कई बार कृष्ण का एक नाम गदाग्रज है क्योंकि ये गदा भी कैरी करते थे अब उसके पास वो गदा भी खत्म हो गया और वो ट्राइडेंट था उसका वो भी खत्म हो गया तो फिर देन ही ट्राइड टू पुल हिमसेल्फ जैसे उठ के कृष्ण को पकड़ के पकड़ना चाहा अपने हाथों से जैसे ही हाथ बढ़ाया तो कृष्ण ने अपना सुदर्शन चक्र छोड़ा और वो सुदर्शन चक्र ने उसके हाथ और गर्दन सब काट के उसको मिन्स करके उसको पानी में पटक दिया नेचुरली द मोमेंट सुदर्शन चक्र हैज कम एंड इज बो हैंड्स एंड जब उसका गर्दन कट गया तो नेचुरली वो पानी के अंदर गिर पड़ा और पानी के अंदर गिरा तो कैसे गिरा जैसे कोई इंद्र वज्र का प्रहार होता हो इतनी जोर से गिरा बड़ा खूंखार था सो इन दिस वे ही किल्ड मूरा और वहां से फिर कृष्ण का एक और नाम हुआ मुरारी श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव so from that day he was also known as Murari for killing Mura मुरली मोहन भी बोलते थे ना उसको तो मदन मोहन मुरली मोहन मूरा नाम के राक्षस को ही मारा इसलिए मुरारी भी है मुरारी इज मुरली बजाना इज मुरली मोहन बेटर है मुरलीधर बोलते हैं सॉरी मुरलीधर मुरली धारण करते हैं मुरलीधर मुरली बजाते हैं हाँ मुरली मनोहर वो सब हाँ तो ऐसा नाम है कि कोई चिंता नहीं जैसे मूरा नाम का राक्षस का वध करने से उनका नाम हुआ मुरारी सो मुरारी का मूर के मरते ही उसके 7 पुत्र खड़े हो गए एक नहीं दो नहीं उसके 7 पुत्र थे इक्वली स्ट्रॉन्ग 7 पुत्र even 7 sons got up and their names were also written in Bhagavatam. They were Tamra, Antariksha, Sravana, Vibhavasu, Vasu, Nabhaswan, Aruna. ये 7 असुर थे वो सारे सातों के सातों एक साथ जंप करे बैटलफील्ड में कृष्ण से लड़ाई करने में और इनके साथ साथ उनका कमांडर इन चीफ पीठ नाम था उसका कमांडर इन चीफ पीठ भी अपने मिस्टिकल वेपन्स के साथ में है ना असुरों के पास आसुरिक वेपन्स होते हैं दे हैव मिस्टिकल वेपन्स so with their mystical weapons they also jumped into the war and there was a fierce firework battle happening too much of fireworks too much of thunderbolts like too much of thunderbolts action packed fireworks जैसे ही छोड़ते हैं तो अग्नि निकलती है जैसे निकलती है वहां से अग्नि निकलती है ये होती है वो होती है ना ऐसा सो इतनी ज्यादा अग्नि निकली थी उस समय दैट इज द रीजन नो डाउट व्हाई दैट दिवाली आल्सो took up that of course there are 2-3 reasons that we पितरों की शांति के लिए भी अपने हाथों से हम फुलझड़ियां वगैरह छोड़ते हैं, फायरवर्क्स, आकाश दीपदान करते हैं. All those things are there, one of the reason. But this action-packed drama which happened just one day before of Diwali, which is Naraka Chaturdasi day, Chaturdasi के दिन हुआ था. So this also gives the Leela for Diwali that everyone has to enjoy with lot of fireworks. Many of them advocate क्या फायदा होता है फायरवर्क्स करने से, पैसा बर्बाद होता है, पोल्यूशन होता है. बट रिमेंबर, कृष्णा हैज आल्सो सेड, रिमेंबर माय पास्ट टाइम्स एंड रिपीट दैट. सो एज अ वैदिक शास्त्र वी शुड, तो कोई गलत नहीं है व्हेन वी आर डूइंग weapon this firework, because we are also killing Narakasur. Of course Narakasur is within us also. We have to first remove that vritti also, that is there, so mat vinodartham, so you can. So ये नरक चतुर्दशी इसलिए ये है. तो आप पहले मैं बचपन में when I had seen Ramayana on Doordarshan, I used to think, how is it possible? One person is throwing the barn from here, the other person is waiting, he is throwing. Of course that is depiction. कि उनको उसका भी फायरवर्क दिखाना, इसका भी फायरवर्क दिखाना, दोनों फायरवर्क एक जगह आके मिलके कुछ साउंड होता है, फिर एक फायरवर्क चला जाता है. मेरे को लगता था क्या ऐसे होता होगा. बट हूबहू इन श्लोक्स all these things have been defined in Shastras. In the same fashion, it has been defined in the Shastras. So amazing, that minutest details are caught and documented in the scriptures. That is the Vedic Shastras. So is it not amazing, right? इतना डिटेल में तो हम भी आजकल नहीं कुछ करते हैं, मोटा मोटी बोलते हैं, बट इतना डिटेल में यहां तक कि उसका कैप्चर किया हुआ है. सो ना इतना होने के बावजूद भी देन कृष्णा अल्टीमेटली किल्ड ऑल दोस 7 sons also along with that Pita. वो फायरवर्क्स हुआ लेकिन he killed, ultimately unable to tolerate the loss of Mura because he was the guardian for him apart from Shiva, and his 7 sons, they were, he was more convinced that these people are there, I'll be safe. So Bhaumasur was in the palace, but this all things made him to come out of the palace, है ना. रावण भी आखिरी में बाहर आया था ना, जब तक पहले मेघनाथ, इंद्रजीत और क्या बोलते अपने भाइयों को, कुंभकर्ण, सबको भेजा, एंड में खुद आया था. वैसे ही भौमासुर भी अपने बाहर निकलता है और ही सीज, निकलता कैसे है, गरुड़ के ऊपर कृष्ण और उनको देखता, और वो निकलता कैसा है उसका डिफाइंड है, ही कम्स आउट ऑन ऐरावत, the white elephant which he took during the Samudra Manthan, and they were already capturing everything, right? So the white elephant, and he sees Krishna. He sees his Krishna and his wife mounted on Garuda like a cloud with lightning sitting above the sun. That situation he could see, and seeing the Lord, Bhauma realized, Bhauma, what did he do? He released Shatagni weapon. And when he released Shatagni, his soldiers simultaneously attacked with other weapons also. So Lord Krishna just took his bow and with his sharp arrows, he started hitting the Bhaumasur's army. So these arrows were displaying like variegated feathers, variegated feathers of fire coming out of them, which decimated the army within, as a just as a mass of converting them into the mass of bodies, and this thing. तो इतनी सारी, एक अग्नि का बाण निकलता है, इतने सारे अग्नियों में परिवर्तित होकर लोगों को जला के राख कर देता है, वैसा सिचुएशन. या किसी के हाथ कट गए, किसी के पैर कट गए, ऐसा, किसी के थाई कट गए, किसी के चीक कट गए, कुछ भी. तो कृष्णा किल्ड quite a few things of the उनके इसके ऊपर. So Shatagni, when Bhaumasur threw, Shatagni is a weapon, we have to understand it is a divine weapon which he got from Lord Shiva. So, when he took that bow, he also, when he used to play Mridangam Seva for Shiva, Shiva also gave him this Shatagni weapon. So हम जानते हैं सभी, आशुतोष नाम इसलिए क्योंकि बहुत प्रसन्न हो जाते हैं, इसलिए दे भी देते हैं कुछ भी। तो शताग्नि वेपन कोई मामूली वेपन नहीं था, तो वो देते। तो उससे हर कोई उसको ये नहीं, मतलब इट वाज लाइक एज गुड एज इंद्रास थंडरबोल्ट, इनफैक्ट मच बेटर देन थंडरबोल्ट. So facing Shatakni was not that easy. Of course, Krishna के लिए सब कुछ नहीं, but then for everybody, Shatakni was that kind of weapon. So Krishna struck down all the, yeah, other soldiers, missiles, whatever they were throwing, and Krishna was doing that. And in the meanwhile, Garuda, it was also running very swiftly, pouncing upon everybody, hitting the elephants very hard with its beak and with its legs, disturbing all of them. So, the elephants also got agitated. So they also started, elephants and everything also started leaving people there itself and running towards safety. Why? Because Garuda was so big. So big. And they also, so leaving Narakasur also around. Narakasur also was on Airavat, but when Garuda attacked Airavat left Narakasur down and then it ran away. So seeing this, he hurled the Shatagni weapon. So the Shatagni weapon, once defeated, means like, once it's a mighty weapon. That weapon went and hit Garuda. But Garuda was not shaken. And that same thunderbolt, once what happened, Garuda had gone to Swargaloka to pick up something from the waters, and Indra had to throw thunderbolt. And as a result of thunderbolt, one of his wing got cut, which he gained cut, and he fell unconscious. So with the thunderbolt, Garuda had faced that, and this is much more than thunderbolt when this Shatagni was thrown. But Garuda this time felt like a flower petal hitting its body. Why? Yeah, Krishna was sitting on the back. So Krishna is all yoga, like क्या बोलते हैं, सारे योगों का इंचार्ज, right? So he could feel, isn't that the heaviest this coming as like a feather. So of course, Garuda could have survived even the thunderbolt, but as a mark of respect, because he had entered without his permission, he allowed it to be hit and allowed it to cut one of its wing, which he later on regained. So as a mark of respect, he did that there. That's what even Acharyas write. Otherwise, Garuda is a Vahan of Lord Krishna. He may be sitting or he may not be sitting, but he will have that power. So eventually, here that trident, it was thrown and then, it was okay. Then, when he was hurling this again, Shatagni, what happened? Satyabhama got agitated. Husband, already there's so much of fireworks is going on. And when when he is attacking with the force this time, hurling it to Krishna directly, so Satyabhama was a bit hesitant, means shocked. What did she? Nath, isko khatam kar do. I don't want this person to survive. This Bhaumasur should not be alive. Kill him instantly. And then Krishna gives a smile. This is what I was waiting for your permission. You are none other than the original Bhumi Devi as my consort in the eternal Loka. And you, in the form of Bhumi, had asked me, Vara, that I cannot kill him without your permission. So I wanted your permission in form of Bhumi Devi or head of Bhumi Devi. So you gave me the permission now, and now see, I am going to kill him. So in this way, when Bhauma, when he frustrated and held his trident and all those, simple, Krishna had to just put his Sudarshan Chakra and kill Bhaumasur. Some books say Satyabhama took Sudarshan Chakra from Krishna and threw on Bhaumasura and he got killed. So many places you will find Satyabhama killed Bhaumasura, and especially in some folklores and all those you see. But Bhagavatam says Krishna was just waiting for the permission, and there they write, since only her mother can kill, so mother only could kill. But it is Krishna was waiting for the permission, and then Krishna heard this thing and he killed. So as a result, he fell into and this thing came to an end. तो 16,100 स्त्रियों को अपने बंधक बना लिया था और इतना कुछ वरदान लेके रखा था, शताग्नि लेके रखा था शिव जी से और से सबसे, लेकिन फिर अल्टीमेटली ये सब कुछ काम नहीं आता है जब कृष्ण अपने ओरिजिनल स्वरूप में आते हैं. So then Bhumi Devi comes out, there are shlokas. Bhumi Devi comes out and he says, praise to Krishna that, he obeises unto you, O Lord of the chief demigods, O holder of the conch shell, disc and club, O supreme soul within the heart. So see, she also is praising for what all levels. She is calling him Lord of the chief demigods, holder of the conch shell, disc and club, बोलते शंख चक्र गदा पद्म वाले, super soul. हे परमात्मा, आप ही परमात्मा हो. So you assume various forms to fulfill your devotees' desires. So I offer my obeisances unto you. And then she says, Nama Pankaj Navaya, Nama Pankaj Maline, Nama Pankaj Netraya, Namaste Pankajangre. अब हमको लगता है ये प्रेयर तो सिर्फ कुंती देवी ने कहा है, because this prayer comes in Kunti Devi's prayers. When we read Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, Kunti Devi also prays with this shloka. And here Bhumi Devi is praying with that same shloka. So it is to be understood that this shloka which Kunti Devi prayed is a normal Vedic shloka in the Vedas in order to, to glorify Uttama shloka. So Bhumi Devi also used this same shloka, and also Kunti Devi used the same shloka. So both offered for the same reason, prayers. हम भी इसीलिए करते हैं, नमा पंकज नाभाय नमा पंकज मालिने. We also pray the same thing but the moment we complete our जयध्वनि, right? कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंद गोप कुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. All these are nothing but poetries describing Uttama shloka. She also says, Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Vishnave Purushaya Adibijaya Purna Bodhayate Namaha. Bhumi Devi says, obeises unto you, O Supreme Lord Vasudeva Vishnu, the primeval person, the first person, the original seed. That same message is reverberated in Bhagavad Gita also. Aham bija pradapita. I am the seed-giving father. Here Bhumi Devi is also referring this the seed, the original seed giver. Obeises unto you. Obeisance unto you, the omniscient one. Omniscient one, arthat, present everywhere, even in the form of wind also. So in this way, Bhumi Devi prayers are, the philosophical prayers of Vedas only, and which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also taught us the same thing 500 years back. सो भूमि देवी और इस प्रकार जो है सो भूमि देवी आती है, प्रणाम करती है और सारे वो जो चारों चीजें लेके आए थे, कुंडल, छत्र और मैदान, तो वो लौटा नहीं सकती, लेकिन कृष्ण के आगे लाके रखती है, बोलती है ये सब वापस आप करो, मेरा बेटा गलत एसोसिएशन, बाणासुर के एसोसिएशन में आके उसने आपसे ये सब लिया और ये वापस आप रिटर्न कीजिए उनको और क्षमा कीजिए. एंड इन दिस वे उनके पोते को, भौमा के बेटे को लेके आती है और इसको ब्लेस कीजिए. इस प्रकार वो भौमा के बेटे को लेके आती है और भगवान से ब्लेसिंग करवाती है. तो सरेंडर का मूल आता है. भूमि इंट्रोड्यूसेस Bhaumasur son to Krishna, who has been frightened by so much of fireworks and was terribly violent to look at the place. So she asks her grandson to approach Krishna and seek protection from Krishna and ask Krishna to put lotus on his head and dispel all his sins. And Krishna does that. Surrender mode. When somebody comes for surrender, Krishna accepts that. Kaliyanag. Krishna danced on Kaliyanag. But when the Naga Patnis surrendered and asked Krishna to help, Krishna helped them also and gave them a place which is today Fiji Island. हाँ? कालिया को बोला कि भाई अब तू यहाँ यमुना को छोड़ के फिजी आइलैंड चले जाओ. उस समय फिजी नहीं बोला, लेकिन फिजी वो आज का प्लेस वो वहां पर है. सो इस प्रकार तो कृष्ण से कनेक्शन आने से जो भी फियर रहता है ना, ध्रुव महाराज जैसी शंख से हाथ लगा उनका हरि का, उन्होंने बहुत कुछ मांगने आए थे, सब कुछ मांगना छोड़ के भगवान से भक्ति मांगने लग गए. तो भौमा का पुत्र भी जो डर गया था, मात्र कृष्ण के कमल के स्पर्श करने से एकदम फ्री हो गया. उसके बाद में तत्र राजकन्यायाम शत सहस्रादि आयुक्तम भौमाहृतानाम विक्रम्य राजभ्यो दृशहे हरि. Then Krishna could see 16,100 women, about 16,000. Here it is written about 16,000. About 16,000 royal maidens who were captive with Bhauma came out and started glorifying Krishna. So people should not get confused. About 16,000 has been written. These are 16,008 are the principal wives of Krishna. So 16,080 हुआ, 16,108 कहाँ हुआ? इसलिए श्रीधर स्वामी बताते हैं, पराशर श्रीधर स्वामी provides evidence from Parashar Muni, quoting from Vishnu Purana, where he says, in Vishnu Purana it is clearly mentioned that Lord equally prowessed found 16,100 princesses, है ना? तो भागवतम में about 16,000 लिखा हुआ है. होता है, बड़ा नंबर होता है तो ऐसे लिख दिया about 16,000, but it was 16,100 princesses which were in Vayu Puran, Vishnu Puran 5.29.9, there it is defined 16,100. Okay, so all this they were not ordinary princes, they were Gandharva, Apsaras, उन सब की पुत्रियां ये सब थी वो. So now Krishna said, you all are free. And then they started praying, like, we have seen the sun after so long, we were captive under this person. If we go back to our homes in this situation, I am sure we will not be able to face our parents. Nobody will accept us. He has mistreated us in all such ways. We have all become patita. You are only our protector. Please protect us, Krishna. Give us protection, Krishna. This way, there are a series of shlokas where they make prayers. And then Krishna, in fact, some of them, in fact, every one of them, while coming out, seeing Krishna, already desired in their hearts that, we were so good princesses. We used to get some good husband like Krishna. And we were so much in a horrible situation with this Bhaumasura. So they already desired to become Krishna's wives, like, husband like Krishna, they already desired, and Krishna as a form of Paramatma had already understood their desire, and then Krishna said, okay, don't worry, I will relieve you all. From today onwards, you are all my wives. And he marries each one of them, 16,100 principals, and brings them home. Brings them.
इसलिए लगता सोलिफिकेशन.
हाँ?
उसकी परमिशन चाहिए होगी.
So, इस प्रकार, इस प्रकार वो तो वहां खत्म हुआ. Okay, these 16,100 were princesses were free. In fact, Krishna that time says to one of his associates, calls as one of the associates and says, now you direct them to Dwarika. Make them reach Dwarika. In the meantime, I have to go for one more excursion ride and come back. दूसरा excursion ride क्या था? He wanted to go to Parijata, bring the Parijata from ML. So उनको स्वर्ग की राइड पे लेके गया था. He wanted to take him to the स्वर्गलोका राइड only. In between तो ये थोड़ा टाइम पास था उसके लिए. भी ठीक है, परमिशन चाहिए था, इसको खत्म करना. सब लोग रिक्वेस्ट लेके आए थे तो वो कर दिया. और नाउ यू वेंट टू स्वर्गलोका. स्वर्गलोका जाकर उसने, पहले तो इंद्र ने उसका खूब स्वागत किया, रिसीव किया. आइए, बहुत मीन्स लाइक ना उसका पूरा स्वागत में ये वो सब किया. Then Krishna was taking exploring all the gardens and this everything, and then finally he came across this parijata tree, and then he said, this is the parijata tree. Then Satyabhama is very happy. This is parijata tree. Lord, then you said you will bring me the tree, but how can we take the tree? He says, don't worry. On my Garuda will take all this. Don't worry. And Krishna then, lifts the entire tree with its root and puts it on Garuda and says, bye and going. But Indra, he, knowing everything, he did Swagatam, everything, Krishna and everything. But once he was taking this Parijata tree without the permission of Indra, Indra became angry. And immediately his mood changed and he starts fighting with Krishna. And how can you take my tree without my permission? So, there's a Shukdev Goswami, he says, why? Because, see, he writes about this opulence. He says, Aho Suranam Chatamo Dig Abhyatanam. He says, having achieved the purpose of killing Narakasura, Indra chose to fight with the Supreme Lord Krishna. See, he went and requested Krishna that please, he's stolen all these things. Please come and help me. Krishna helped him, went and said him, gave back those earrings and everything he gave back to Indra's mother, and the playground also he returned, and umbrella to also Varun Devi returned. And then after that, he's taking that Parijata tree and he is fighting. तो इंद्र के ये 2-3 चीजें आती है. इसलिए सेम वृत्तासुर के समय भी वैसे होता है. महर्षि दधीची का जब हड्डियां लेना होता है, वृत्तासुर से भी इंद्र का यही प्रॉब्लम है. महर्षि दधीची का उन्होंने गर्दन काट दिया था. उस समय दधीची क्या बोलते हैं, घोड़े के सर पे थे और अश्विनी कुमार को वेद विद्या दे रहे थे. उस समय घोड़े का सिर उनका काट दिया. फिर अश्विनी कुमार ने नॉर्मल उनका वापस सर लगा के, वो तो शल्य चिकित्सक थे तो उन्होंने कर दिया. बट इंद्र बाद में ये दधीची के साथ में ऐसा कार्य करने के बाद में फिर जाके उनसे बेशरम बन के वृत्तासुर को मारने के लिए उनका बैकबोन का दान मांगता है.
स्वर्ग में इंद्र भगवान ने खूब आतंक मचा रखा है.
भगवान के भक्त है लेकिन मेटीरियलिस्टिक ऑपुलेंस के पीछे दीवाने होते हैं. यहीं पर वो जो काम क्रोध मोह लोभ है ना, तो ये सुरों को भी आता है. तो ये पारी जो 16,100 प्रिंसेस को छुड़ा के अपने घर ले गए, सारी ये करने के बावजूद ये ऐसा कार्य किया इंद्र. तो ये समझने वाली बात है कि कितना भी कोई सुर या सुर भी क्यों ना हो जाओ, लेकिन वो जो ऑपुलेंस है, वो जो घमंड है, वहां पर भी आपका साथ नहीं देता. और आप अगर उससे अटैच्ड हो जाते हो तो वहां पर भी आपका पतन होने का फुल फ्लेज चांसेस है. तुम्हारा हमारा तो क्या चीज है. इंद्र जो कि दे आर देवतास आर सपोज टू बी हायर कैटेगरी ऑफ ह्यूमन बींग्स, उनको भी कभी कभी ये भ्रम हो जाता है. कुछ नहीं, कृष्ण ने लिया पारिजाता, वो सब जिसने भी इंद्र के सेना को निपटा दी, वहीं पे उसको समझा दिया ज्यादा आगे मत बढ़ तो तेरे जगह बैठे रहे. परंतु वही यहाँ हम ये मटेरियलिस्टिक ऑपुलेंसेस की गलत धारणा है जो लोग पाल लेते हैं ना, हमारे पास पैसा है, पैसे के दम पे हम बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं. तो ऑपुलेंस स्वर्ग में भी बहुत है. उस ऑपुलेंस के भरोसे बहुत कुछ कार्य कर सकता है जो भगवान के कार्य को रोक नहीं सकते. ये सारा कुछ क्रिएशन भगवान के द्वारा बनाया हुआ है, तो उसको आप रोक नहीं सकते हो. तो ये 16,100 प्रिंसेस भी घर पहुंच जाती है और पारिजाता ट्री भी लेके आते हैं द्वारका में. बराबर सत्यभामा के महल के अंदर उसके गार्डन में पारिजाता ट्री को लगवा देते हैं. कृष्ण बोलते हैं अब तो खुश ना, मैंने तो उसको एक फ्लावर दिया था, तेरे को तो पूरा ट्री दे दिया. इसमें जितने फ्लावर्स आएंगे तू खूब लगा के खुश रहना. तो पत्नी खुश है ना. तो तो उन सारे now this who are the 16,100 princesses? कई लोग एक क्वेश्चन भी पूछते हैं. So these were all, like during Ramayana time, and of course some came as a fulfillment of Krishna's this thing, like desires, who had desires to become Krishna's husband, as my husband. And in fact, some big during Ramayana time when Rama was in forest, and he was only एक ही पत्नी व्रता, but he was so like इतने सुंदर थे वो, उनके श्याम रंग इतना सुंदर दिखता था कि ऋषि मुनि कामना करते थे कि हम लोग इनकी पत्नी बने सीता के जगह। तो ऋषि मुनि भी ये प्रिंसेस का रूप ले लेके जन्म लिए और कृष्ण के साथ में उनका वरण हुआ वनवास के समय। तो ऐसा इससे ये कहानी खत्म होती है। 2 important learnings है that we have to always be aware of our anarthas, which is lust, pride, power, and opulences. We should have to always be aware of all this thing. Get rid of them by practicing Krishna consciousness, using them in service to Krishna. Whatever desires we have, fulfill in presence of Krishna, and do not become a victim of any bad association. पता चलता है ये एसोसिएशन हमारे लायक नहीं है, ये सब पीने पिलाने वालों का एसोसिएशन है, तुरंत अपना दूरी बना लेना चाहिए, अन्यथा किसी न किसी दिन कर्म का बंधन हमें उस प्रकार जकड़ता ही है। यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट प्रोविडेंस, then choice, the free will. So Krishna doesn't interfere in the free will. Choice has to be done by you. That is where between birth and death there is only B and D, there is C, that is choice. The choice is left to you as an eternal entity, Jiva. When you take the choice, what kind of choice you take, then the providence and the karma phala follows. So that is the whole purpose, is to break that karma phala. We'll have that discussion someday. Prabhu had asked some good questions, so I said we'll personally discuss it. Probably it will take some time, but then yeah. So इस प्रकार ये यहाँ पर खत्म हुआ। So दोनों चीज को हमें ध्यान रखनी चाहिए। और कृष्ण बड़े भक्तवत्सल है, अपने भक्तों की पूरी इच्छाएं पूरी करते हैं, तो उनके साथ रख के हमारे जितने भी लॉफुल डिजायर्स है उनको हमें उनके इसमें प्रेजेंस में करना चाहिए, जिससे हमारा कर्म बंधन कट होता है। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय। किसी का कोई प्रश्न?
यस प्रभु।
जैसे पुरुष या आदमी का 6 लोग होते हैं ना, काम,
क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मद और मात्सर्य।
क्या करते हैं? क्रोध मुझे पता है वो गुस्सा होता है, और लोभ, मोह, वो सब क्या होता है?
वो सब उसके एसोसिएट्स है,
छोटे भाई बहन।
छोटे भाई बहन है। काम सबसे बड़ा भाई बहन है। काम है, जैसे आपको इच्छा थी कि मेरे को एक गिलास जूस मिले, नहीं मिला, आपको क्रोध आएगा, छोटा भाई खड़ा हो जाएगा। क्रोध आएगा। नहीं, ध्यायते विषयान पुंसान, देखा आप? पहले ख्वाहिश आएगी, फिर उसके बाद में उसको फुलफिल करना है। मैंने अंगूर वगैरह सब पीसा किया, सबको बनाने के लिए गया, फिर भी मुझे नहीं मिला, तो तुम्हारा फुलफिल नहीं होगा। तो तुमको, अब तुम्हारे पीने की बड़ी तीव्र इच्छा होगी, बहुत ही अच्छा लगा है, सब तारीफ कर रहे हैं, मैं बाद में पीऊंगा, ऐसा रहता है। और तुम बाद में पीने के लिए बाद में पिए, जब तक खत्म हो जाता है, तो वो जो तीव्र इच्छा हो जाती है वो लस्ट हो जाता है। लोभ है ना, काम वो फर्स्ट, वहां से काम शुरू होता है। फिर वो जब फुलफिल नहीं होता है तो गुस्सा आता है, चल मुझे ही नहीं मिला, क्रोध, फिर लोभ, मोह, मद और मात्सर्य है ना। फिर आप ग्लास तोड़ देते हो, देखते नहीं हो कांच की ग्लास है, मुझे ही सफाई करना पड़ेगा, किसी को लग जाएगी, गुस्सा आ जाता है ना। सामने मम्मी है खड़ी, गुस्सा आ गया, मम्मी के पास ही फेंक दिया, मम्मी को चोट लग गई पैरों में, फिर क्या करोगे? ये काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मद और मात्सर्य, ये सब चीजें कराते हैं, सर पे चढ़ जाके आपको गलत कार्य करवाते हैं। तो रोकना कहाँ है? काम के स्टेज पे। इच्छा हो गई, भगवान को दे दिया, भगवान ने सबको प्रसाद दे दिया, प्रसाद मेरे इस पे शायद नहीं लिखा था, या फिर 1 ड्रॉप लिखा था, उसमें पी के मैं सेटिस्फाई हो जाऊं। ग्लास भर पीने की रखने की इच्छा शायद गुस्सा दिला सकती है, फुलफिल नहीं हुई तो, ऐसे। ठीक है?
परीक्षा पूरी हो गई।
नहीं, वो बहुत बड़ी परीक्षा है, उसका बहुत लंबा भी एक्सप्लेनेशन बेचारे का। हरि बोल। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।